we noticed that there were trees, mature trees, that really needed preservation, that
Hmm.
were compromised by vines, that were needed pruning, that needed treatment for pests, needed cabling,
Hmm.
and tree work is really expensive. So we applied for a grant from the Virginia Department of Forestry, and we're proud to say that we are the second location in Virginia behind Arlington to get such a grant from the Virginia Department of Forestry. It's a 3-year grant. Um, it's about $190,000. We're in the third year of it, so likely we will apply again. And what that will mean is that we can provide free tree care to our neighbors in those neighborhoods who can't afford it. And that is in addition to our tree planting program. So that's kind of in a nutshell our planting and preserving programs. Another very important part of the work we do is education, and that involves our green team, which is a group of teenagers who we train to be tree ambassadors. Not only do they learn about trees, they also learn to engage homeowners and the public about trees and how important the canopy is. And uh, they, you know, they help us go door to door in 10th and Page, Rose Hill, Fifeville, the Woolen Mills, to knock on doors to ask homeowners if we can plant up to 2 free trees in people's yards. Um, so they're, you know, they're we are giving so much to the community. If people will take what we're offering,
Hmm.
we are giving, you know, free young trees. We're giving service, the service of tree maintenance. We are giving people's children and grandchildren an outlet for climate activism. You know, the young people really care. They I think I may be uh, optimistic, but I think that young people, you know, are very altruistic teenagers, and um, we're giving them an outlet for doing something about this climate situation we're in. So yeah, sorry, I've been rambling,
No,
and I
you're
don't know if I don't know if I totally answered your question, but that's what we are doing, and we are only limited by, you know, human and monetary resources. I'm one of 3 staff members, and you know, I'm part time, 32 hours a week. My administrative director is 20 hours a week, and I have a programs consultant who's 20 hours a month. So, you know, we're looking for ways to increase our capacity and to be able to provide more services. And the way that that comes into play is we have had to just focus on one neighborhood a year. And
mm,
because 10th and Page was a couple years ago, we've you know, we moved on, we planted trees there. We've moved on to Rose Hill, Fifeville, Woolen Mills. But, you know, we can go back and, you know, when we have more funding, we can go back and work on, you know, work on trees, plant more trees in the neighborhoods where we've been before. We can kind of double back. Um, so, um, so what's your reaction to that? And does what I have told
mm.
you fit into your project? And um, you know, how can I make relief helpful to you and in what you offer to the residents of 10th and Page?
Yeah. So I think like my approach is I'm trying to figure out kind of the best way to help the residents, and of course like the city is a big component, and I know the city is limited in what they're able to plant because they can only do it on public land. And so I know
Mm-hmm.
like the Charlottesville Tree Commission um gave credit to you guys for, being able to increase urban tree canopy coverage because you can do it on
Mm-hmm.
private land. But I was wondering how that works. Are there barriers to that? Like do do homeowners give you a difficult time? Like and how have you what's your relationship like with the city? Are their hands pretty tied, or do they support you guys?
They do. They support us, and they support us in, first of all, the Tree Commission is a city commission,
Hmm.
and so that that they exist is support in and of itself. And our city has an urban forester, Steve Gaines. I'm sure you've probably heard his name before.
Yes.
Um, he is on our board, and he works through Parks and Rec, um, but he was authorized to hire an assistant. So, the city is supportive of, in those ways, the city is supportive of the tree culture, for lack of a better term, um, and and they also fund relief activities. This city has a wonderful fund called the Vibrant Community Fund that supports a lot of nonprofits in the area. And we get funding. This will be the second year in a row that we've gotten funding from the city through the Vibrant Community Fund. Um, but I will say that areas for improvement include making stricter codes, laws, when it comes to preservation of trees around construction zones.
Mm.
On and this is on well, this is on public and private land. I suppose, but an example could be you know the neighborhood called Garrett Square. It's called Garrett Square. I think it's called something different now. I think it's called Kendallwood.
Mm.
Um, that you know there's some beautiful uh, oaks, 50-year-old oaks, and the their canopy and their root system was not factored into the redevelopment of that neighborhood, and some of the oaks had to be condemned because the trenching for the construction went into the root zone.
Mhm.
Um, so, you know, there were Relief and the Tree Commission and other tree organizations are stepping into the arena of advocacy, um, and helping the community learn about trees, value trees, and advocate for better codes that allow us to preserve trees,
Mm.
preserve the trees we have. Now, I want to mention to you the resource, the Tree Commission State of the Canopy report. Have you seen that?
Yes, I
Okay,
have.
good, good. You might have seen it, read it before I did.
Yeah,
I mean, the one that came out just recently. Have you seen that?
yes, and
Okay,
then
good,
I
good,
was also in contact with Stephen Gaines, and
excellent,
I got the
good,
Charlottesville Urban Forest Assessment Report as well.
excellent. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Excellent. I'm so glad. That's so great. Yeah. Does that help?
yeah. I think also I was just Wondering, do you guys communicate with the residents much? Like, have they responded to the tree planting work in a certain way? Have they given you any feedback?
Yes, and I think there is room for us to improve our relationships with neighborhoods.
Hmm.
I've been in this role for a year and a month, and I really want to have deeper relationships with the community. So I came on board when we were planting in I came aboard last spring when we were kind of starting our process really of hiring and training the green team, of then going out and canvassing neighborhoods for tree planting, then ordering the trees, then planting the trees. Then we go out and canvass for tree preservation, and then we preserve the trees. And then we work on invasives in Riverview Park, because we are part of the Rivanna River Forest Restoration Partnership. And then we start that whole cycle over again. So I've really been only around for one cycle. I wasn't around for the planting in 10th and Page. I wasn't around for the planting in Rose Hill. So I don't know, I know people who live in those neighborhoods, but we stand to improve our relationships with people in those neighborhoods,
Hmm.
all to say. And I am constantly um, seeking people and partners in those neighborhoods. Yeah.
Do you guys work with Seville 100 at all?
We we have not joined CVO 100 yet,
Okay.
but we have worked with the Citizens Climate Lobby, the Charlottesville chapter of the Citizens Climate Lobby. In
Okay.
fact, last night I did a panel with um, that was organized by the Citizens Climate Lobby. Um, it was part of a Tom Tom event,
Mm.
and and yes, there was a member of the CVille 100, several members of the CVille 100 there. Yeah,
Okay.
yep,
Because I know they're trying to kind of bridge that gap between like local organizations and residents and try to act as a channel of communication.
yes, yes, yeah. But
Um,
what the organization that we did work with in 10th and Page is City of Promise.
okay,
Um,
yes, in the garden.
yes, 2 summers we City of Promise hosted our green team sessions. Um, so that was a really good relationship. Um, I think, several of our green team members came from 10th and Page, and yeah, we continue to, you know, benefit from that wonderful relationship.
And were you guys a part of getting that garden started originally?
No,
Okay.
we were not a part of that.
Okay. Um, are they, do you know if City of Promise is looking to do anything more with 10th and Page?
I really don't know. I think that um, I don't know. I see Price Thomas occasionally in
Mhm.
passing, but I have not sat down and talked to him lately about the state of his organization.
Yeah, no, that's
Yeah,
totally fine.
yeah.
Okay. Let me think what else. If there was any other um hmm.
I do know that um, if you're looking for other people to talk to, first of all, where did you live in 10th and Page?
So I lived like right across the street from like the entrance to like West Haven.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like on 10th Street,
Yeah.
around there.
Mhm.
Okay, cool. And I have a former board member who lives, his name is James Bryant. Um, and I bet you he would be willing to talk to you if you want another resident of the neighborhood to talk to. Um,
Yeah.
uh, James Bryant, I'm just looking him up. Um, he is a retired teacher and school counselor, um, and he's who worked at CHS. He's a member of the 10th and Page Street Community Development Block Grant Task Force.
Oh wow.
Would he be someone that you would want to talk to?
Yes, definitely. That would be
Okay.
great. Thank you so much.
Yes, sure. I'm gonna um, compose an email right now.
Thanks.
Caroline. Um, you go by Caroline?
Yes.
Okay. And I know he'll be willing to talk to you. Um, let me see here. I might even be able to give you his phone number. I'll email first. Yeah. Okay, I'll do that.
Okay, perfect. And then if like, and no pressure at all to get a quote, but I was just wondering if you had like maybe like a little quote I could incorporate to my question. What gives you hope about the future of tree equity and neighborhood investment in Charlottesville?
What gives me hope?
Hmm.
Really, what gives me hope is the connections that we're forming with young people and with neighborhoods in Charlottesville. We're teaching students about the importance of trees and nature and why we need both in our city and the benefits of trees and nature in cities. And they are carrying that message into neighborhoods and forming connections and making making good face-to-face connections with people,
Mm.
um, in order to make our community better.
Yeah, thank you. That was
Yeah.
amazing, and I totally agree. I saw like I think you guys are going on like your fourth year of doing the green team. I think that's
Yes.
amazing that you can like recruit so many young people to learn more about like urban forestry management and the importance of planting trees. I think that's
Yeah.
wonderful, and like your
Oh,
outreach must be amazing. You guys to like because I know it's hard to get teenagers to get
yeah.
out there and get
Well,
dirty.
I should mention that we do pay them. We pay
Okay.
them. Yeah.
Oh.
It is a it is a paid year-long internship for
Oh
them.
wow.
So that's an important fact.
Yeah, sure.
We want them to be to know that this is a job and a career path.
Hmm.
So they're learning about trees, but they're learning some valuable employment skills like learning how to talk with adults, learning how to make a case for something, overcoming obstacles
Hmm.
of, if someone says, well, I can't take care of the trees that I have, they can say, well, we actually, in addition to tree planting, we have a tree preservation program,
Hmm.
so they're, learning some sales skills.
Hmm.
Some of our students have gone and spoken in front of city council on our behalf
Wow.
for that funding. You know, last Saturday, two of my Green Team students came and demonstrated how to plant a tree. So they're kind of, you know, learning how to be on camera and
Hmm.
learning how to um, explain to people how to do things. So yeah, that's another part of it to mention.
Yeah. I mean, that's great. I feel like that's pretty rare. I don't see a lot of that, and I feel like it's important to show like high schoolers especially that there are many different paths.
For sure.